Cincinnati's ready for the Big 12. It was time for them.
I am fired up.
It's a blessing to be able to be in this league with y'all, putting on for UC.
Cincinnati, a basketball school.
And there he goes. Touchdown! Bearcats!
Raquama again. Another slam inside.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the GoBeercats podcast. He's Darin, I'm Brandon, and we're doing something we've never done here before, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about baseball in the Queen City. No, we're not talking about the Reds. This isn't the Go Reds Bearcats podcast or whatever the hell. We're talking Bearcats baseball getting underway. Depending on when you're listening to this, it might already be underway. But there's no time like the present to do a deep dive into expectations, the roster, the new coaching staff. I got to say, Darin, you have done your homework on this and made some great tools that we're going to try to see if we can't make available for the people here. It's 40 degrees out, but are you ready to talk some baseball?
I'm ready to talk some baseball. Hey, college could start a little bit earlier. They got to tough it out a little bit while the big wigs get to go down to Arizona and hang out in the Diamond League. So we got our boys starting out this weekend. And if you didn't know, if you've been living under a rock, we have a change in leadership as of last fall for Bearcats baseball. We hired Jordan Bischel out of Central Michigan to head up the program. He had some great success there. He I think he took them to 3 back-to-back NCAA appearances. He's MAC Coach of the Year 2 times, I think 2019, 2021. Before that, had some good success at Northwood for a few years. I think he was I may be butchering a contract, Gilliac Coach of the Year there right before he went to Central Michigan. So he's had some success. And with that success comes a lot of eyes on you. So he had a lot of options about where he could have gone, but he chose Cincinnati. In his own words, he's familiar with the kind of place Cincinnati is. It's very similar to what he's used to. He's a Midwestern guy from, I want to say, Green Bay, Wisconsin. And even his coaching tenure, he spent a lot of time in the Midwest overall. Not just that, just the Ohio, Michigan region, as he puts it, is a very good hotbed for talent. So he wants to get that. He wants to tap into that as well still. And then just, of course, UC is a national brand. We may not be a national brand in baseball, but as a university, we are out there, and we have our accomplishments in sports, whether it be football or basketball, some volleyball appearances, cheer, dance, whatever it may be.
Well-rounded.
And just the leadership here has a desire for us to be successful in the Big 12. They don't want to, as he puts it, they don't want to just wear the Big 12 label and call it a day. They want to win here, which is great, especially with how the last 10 year went for UC baseball, kind of rocked by some, some off the field issues. We won't get into that at this point. That time's passed, but he's excited to be here. And so what we're going to do, we're going to look at his style too. He, as a coach, describes it as he wants to be have an aggressive team. Whether that's attempting 5, 6, 7 stolen bases per game. He also described base hits, base hit bunts. Not necessarily doing sacrificial bunts, as he put it, but base hit bunts to really kind of force the opposing outfield into mistakes. Then he wants his pitchers to attack the strike zone directly. So no trickiness, go right at the batters. And then just overall, there's pressure in the short game as well. And then basically, we'll get into this later, but success for this weekend, coming out, he described it as wanting to, seeing if the guys are committing to the style that they've been trying to establish since fall ball. and we'll get more on that as this weekend series ends. But before we get too far on that, let's have a look at the players.
Before we even jump into the players, Darin, there's two things that go really well with baseball.
Yes.
Number one, hot dogs. You got to get a hot dog at the ballpark. I do not have a hot dog rolling machine or a grill behind me. However, the second thing that goes great with baseball, beer. And I do have a beer fridge behind me. So I know we're recording this at a weird time. It might be it's not even 5 o'clock if I can be completely transparent with you. But I dove right in. We're talking baseball. I gotta put some furniture together later after this. And we gotta have a beer. So time for a beer, of course, brought to you by the Delhi Liquor Store. Things are going to be back in full swing at that place here come at the end of March. I will be back behind the bar there at the end of next month. So be sure to stop in. We have some great things planned here for our patrons. This one that I just stopped and got right before we hopped on here is Angry Chair from Florida. I thought since our boys were down there playing baseball this weekend in Florida, I'll crack a beer from there as well. So this one's called Less Love, a double dry hopped double IPA, 8.1%. It is hazy like the Florida sunshine, I'm sure. And it tastes like sunshine. I like that a whole lot.
Well, I mean, not just that. You're putting furniture together, so the chair name.
Yeah, and not just that. I'm putting a crib together. It came today, so big things happening around this household. So, let's dive into the players. I'm ready.
Yeah, absolutely. In no particular order. We're starting with the field players from various parts and numbers.
Do you think? Should I share this document on our screen while we're going through it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
I always forget that I can do that, but
yeah, these stats are based off of what I could find from 2013. So their most recent stats. So we had Josh Hedgeman. First we're gonna look at their at-bat statistics. Local Liberty Township, Baden, we consider that the 275 loop.
We'll count it.
14 to average. Experienced senior. I know Coach was I think looking to get him involved at some point this year. He's got the experience, and Coach actually really spoke to our offensive capability. So we got some guys out there who can hit and get some points on the board. Moving on, we got Cole Harding, another senior. I forgot. Josh is a left-handed batter, left-handed throw. Cole right-handed and right-handed. Another senior out of the area, tri-state area, Westchester, Mason. Not as high as the batting average, but experience nonetheless that we can lean on. Kieran Cross, you can plug them in anywhere, right-handed, all the way through. Out of Brownsburg, Indiana. Some of these guys are going to be known more for their defensive capability. I'm excited to see where his stats pan off. He got some mentions too in some of the early pressers. We got Sean Springer, infield player, left-handed bat, right-handed throw. He is a junior, redshirt, out of Ohio as well, Strongville, holy name. Looking at 227 at the bat there. Solid experience, 29 games played. Moving on, we got Landon. I'm going to just destroy his name. Vidarek. Utility player, left-handed bat, right-handed throw, sophomore. He got some strong praise. I think they want him to play in the middle of the field potentially, in the outfield. But just a sophomore, so plenty of room there. Still a lot of game experience here at UC with 42 games played. Another Kyle Schupman, infield. Right-handed all the way through. Sophomore out of Geneva, Illinois, Luther Prep. Decent appearances, not strong at the plate there. At least, in just your initial pure raw hitting statistics. You got Alec Jones. He's going to be playing catcher potentially. Well, actually, I think he did suit today as catcher so far. He's a redshirt senior. Oral Roberts, he played here last year. Was at Oral Roberts the year before that. Great catcher from what I've seen. 46 games played. Some solid experience there. I think they wanted him to split with Corey Klinkenbeck at catcher.
Darin, as you're going through your, with your stats and your big one that I'm noticing here is games played.
Yeah,
and the college baseball season I think is about 50 to 60 games.
Yeah.
The regular season before they get into the tournament. So as you scroll down here, we do not have a ton of experience on this team. We were on the at bat. I just flipped to pitching. Where
our pitching is young. We'll definitely get to that too.
And then so that's just something to remind yourself of here. Is as people started paying a little bit more attention to Bearcats baseball in the past couple of years and kind of saw the team slide off of expectations and everything behind the old regime, if you will. This is a very inexperienced baseball team going into one of the top baseball conferences in the country, which we'll talk about a little bit more as well. But just something to think about as you're going through the games played here and the experience that we have on the roster right now.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you brought up a good point. Our pitching is super young, and we'll have a look at that too when we get into that part of the roster there. Next, we got Max Palmieri, right-handed all the way through, redshirt senior out of Kings. Not too many games played or appearances, but strong at bat from when he did show up. You'll see that a lot on college rosters. Guys in and out, a little bit more fluidity to that into the sport at this level. We have Cameron Gertie. He is a redshirt senior, right-handed all the way through, out of Snellville, Georgia. Georgia transfer. He played here last year, transferred from Georgia the year before. 48 games played. Okay at bat, but nothing crazy. Loudon Brooks, another guy that got some praise from the coach. I think he had him potentially playing second base. Again, we'll look at more of his projected roster for the day and compare that to what we ended up with. We got he's out. He's he is out of Cincinnati as well. Texas Tech the year before last went to McNick. So another local guy. We have a lot of guys here. You'll notice that decided to come back to the region, our state home. And the coach spoke to that too. Coach Bishel spoke to, how many guys he had returning this year. He really didn't bite on the softball question of, having local guys here. Because, since UC people love their hometown heroes, he didn't necessarily bite too hard on that. He kind of said, it's great that they're coming back and that they want to finish the ball here. But, the goal is to have those guys never leave and stay and play their ball here, as well as recruiting in other regions. That's going to be important too. It's not necessarily like this. There's some good baseball talent around here, but it doesn't compare to the football hotbed that this is.
Right.
So that's something everybody's got to keep in mind. As we press on into this tenure. Corey Klinkenbeck, other catcher I mentioned that that he was thinking about giving some time to. switch hitter, right-handed throw. Richard Jr., today, Elder High School, where the Panthers at. Went to Walter State for a bit, came back home. So now we get into our new transfers here, at least as far as the outfield goes. Dalton Pearson, he spoke highly of him as well. He is expected to get to be the starting center fielder. Came from Georgia State this year. Pretty solid at bat at 289. He makes some great defensive plays from what I saw on the way Coach talked about him. Hunter Jesse, Indiana transfer coming in this year, left-handed all the way through. He was also expected to play in the outfield a lot. I think he was going to be sort of utility out there. Play right, left, center as need be. We got Josh Cross, first base, can play catcher as well. He is a switch hitter and a right thrower. Junior, Brunswick, Ohio, played at Brunswick. He came from Eastern Michigan this year, transferred in. Although I say this year, he's this is his first season here. A lot of these guys transfer, in the summer, from the summer through the fall, to start the next spring. Luke Seffett, a sophomore, redshirt, right all the way through. He's coming from Central Michigan. I want to say off the top of my head, coach is bringing a decent amount of baggage with him. Probably, I think, like 4 guys, 3 or 4 guys, maybe 5 actually, from Central Michigan. 315, decent average there. Mark Carney. So this is a fun one. I couldn't really find anything on his stats. I tried to find some news clippings and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I may be complete. I'm sorry. I apologize, Mark and Carney, the Carney family. But I want to say he was a student manager at one point and walked onto the team.
That's interesting.
If based on what I saw, I could be wrong. But based on the information I saw, I think that's what I'm piecing together here. Could be a culture guy. Usually when you bring in guys like that. He had no stats from the Central Michigan database, so I think that's what that's adding up to is that because he was tagged in some of their older student baseball manager videos, and usually that's what you get. You get a lot of guys who join a lot of these collegiate equipment and management teams who played the sport, but just necessarily didn't transfer to the next level. But hey, maybe he earned himself a spot there, and that's all right with me. Coming in the freshman, we got Gavin Earhart, Gavin Earhart outfield, out of Avon, Ohio, left-handed all the way through. Noah Wicks, catcher, freshman, out of Colorado. Charlie Niehaus, infield player, right all the way through, freshman out of Westchester. And then we got Joey Canzoni out of Walton Hills.
When you were looking through this, Darin, are these all guys that Beischel's went and got once he was hired? Are these holdover recruits?
I didn't get a chance to look at the recruiting on that, unfortunately. Okay. I did run out of time on that. I will have to get you an answer later for that. But based on how he talked about some of these freshmen, they're very promising. Okay. There's even some freshmen, at least on the pitching side, that are going to get some looks. So, very exciting stuff. We'll have to see. So let's move over to let's go over to the fielding statistics as well for these guys. So you can scroll over a little bit. As you can see, this is where a lot more of some of these guys' values come from.
For sure.
if you want to focus on, I just lost his name there. Dalton Pearson there. He should be down a few. Yeah, there we go. Oh, he passed him.
There he is. I see him.
Yep.
Here we go.
Yeah. Great numbers.
Yeah.
And you really don't want anybody. I say won't, because college you're going to kind of take what you can get at a certain level, especially when you're rebuilding a program. But you really don't usually, bad, or I won't say bad, but what you want is usually around the 9.5, 950 area, moving up for some fielders in college. So these guys' stats did not transfer well for some reason. That spreadsheet started acting wonky, so I had to input them individually. But looks like we got some decent outfield and infield defending, which is fantastic, especially when, like I said, you're trying to rebuild, a program, or at least, take over and move it upwards and outwards. Very important. Decent amount of experience for some of those guys, but not a lot overall. Okay, so let's move over to the pitching now.
Here we go.
So not a lot of experience as mentioned for a lot of these guys. Oh, good. I thought I was gonna cut you off there.
No, I was going to start thinking out loud as to what the acronyms are. So I'm guessing appearances and games started.
Yeah. Wins, losses.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. So like that was one of the things that he hit on in his press conference, the preseason press conference. I think was earlier this week. He was talking about inexperience on the mound. He mentioned maybe some high hopes for or not high hopes, but like maybe the more experienced guys being Tony Boba and Chase Horst.
Yeah.
And then a transfer, Seth Logue.
Yes.
Getting some more expectations put on him as well. And I think the other name that he threw out was Nate Taylor.
Yes.
Didn't really say too much about him, as that he said that if he sees an appearance this weekend in Florida,
yes,
it's maybe because some sickness or something going through the team. So a lot of inexperience and young pitching here, which kind of makes me a little bit nervous.
Yeah. And even last year, we didn't have a crazy amount left over. And you mentioned the illness. Pitcher schedules are, the way we manage pitchers has changed year over year over year over year. To the point where a lot of them don't really even hit anymore. I think we missed it, but there was one pitcher who had stats at bat. Over on the pitching or the at bat tab, they even in college they were hitting for a while. Even when MLB changed over and the pros changed over, it's now gotten to the point where college baseball, pitchers aren't hitting either anymore at this level. But yeah, not a crazy amount of experience. We got some holdover seniors here. Alex Shea, 8.47 ERA. Lost my tab there. ERA. Left-handed bat, left-handed thrower. Max, he's a redshirt senior. He's been here. Holdover from the last regime. Max Bergman, same thing. He's out of St. X, Indiana edition. Senior also right-handed, 8.818, 21 appearances, which is still a lot of experience considering you're playing 50 games, so you're splitting that. That's 21 appearances last year, so you're splitting that obviously between other pitchers as well. So you're definitely not going to play the full 50 or so 50 or so games. Griffin Hughes, he got a lot talked up a bit as well. He was going to see some action this year. Some steady experience that Coach Bishel liked. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later based on the game today. Chase Horst also got to get mentioned. Those are both lefties, by the way, all the way through. Out Middletown, Bishop Fenwick. Let's PA. I jumped down there. Let's PA, 18 appearances. Not a lot at that point, but solid numbers. And he's really liked how he's progressed a little bit in camp this year as well, or technically last year because that was 2023. Yep. And we got Carter Earls, Middletown. I mentioned Bishop as well. 18 ERA, only 2 appearances. So not a lot of experience. I'm pretty sure they were kind of down the roster at that point and needed to pull out some pitching. Brendan Garula, left-handed throw, right-handed bat. Mason, not fantastic, at least so far. Young, of course. There's always room for improvement. Tommy O'Connor, a lot of praise, prospect list. He was pitching, but I think we've moved him to first base this year. So those stats are kind of take it with a grain of salt at this point.
Yeah.
Tommy Boba also topped up, right-handed all the way through. Seth Luge. I don't have the stats on there because his stats did not translate well to the spreadsheet the way he had theirs. He I thought I had it saved here on a separate tab. Bear with me. Oh, there we go. Yeah, 7.23 ERA. He pitched in some big games as Coach put it. And as you mentioned, they're going to put more on him. He's getting the starting nod to open up the season, so he gets first pitch for us. To start the season. At this point, it's already started. See, Keegan Allen, out of Arkansas. He is a transfer as well. Forgot Seth transferred this year as well from Kentucky. Keegan's coming out of West Virginia. You're right-handed all the way through, 5.74 ERA. Joey Hurth, right-handed pitcher. He's out of Hopkins, Minnesota. He went to Indiana State, transferred in for this season. Will Murphy.
We got some height at pitcher, man. 6'4", 6'3", 6'3".
Yeah, some catapults.
Another 6'4" down here. Holy moly.
You got some catapults. Some lanky guys. Some a little beefier, but a lot of length. They can just whip that ball. We got Will Murphy, redshirt freshman, coming back home to play. He played at DePaul last year. It's awesome time. Played the street at CHCA. Ryan coming in from Central Michigan. He thought he could help out a little bit this year, at least get some, bolster up the bullpen. He is coming from far away, as you can see. And then we got Michael Conte, fellow Walnut Hills Eagle. What up? Coming back home to play. He's a junior. He likes what he has to do a little bit. And then Kristen Mitchell as well. Kristen Mitchell, kind of interests me. He, infield and pitcher in a pinch. So he's done a little bit of everything. I believe he wanted him to play a little bit this year in outfield. I think is kind of where he's going to stick. He may have even he's going to play shortstop. It was the plan, I think. So I was really excited to see him. Just looking at some of his stats and just seeing him be a hybrid pitcher player as well. But he's bringing him in from Central Michigan. So then we got some freshmen here. Sean Parnell, Nathan Taylor, as we mentioned, who's going to get some looks. He's had a pretty good fall camp. Same for Carson Marsh as well. Two true freshmen, coming out of the area, staying home and looking to get some time this year. Brady Coulter, Drew Erdman got a little bit of a mention as well, and then Carson French.
You briefly just mentioned staying home to play.
Mm-hmm.
If you go up and down this roster and just look at the hometown high school,
mm-hmm.
whether fielding or at bat or pitching, this roster is filled with local guys.
Yeah.
Like filled. Like, I mean, maybe I don't know like what the percentage is here. We could figure that out pretty quickly. But there's in the state of Cincinnati, if you will, going back to a fickle term, like all these guys are from close by or local within the city. So
yeah.
I know they've focused on, or they made baseball not like a priority, but they've focused on trying to get more butts and seats there in the stadium and trying to have more people support the program. And with this many people or this many guys on the roster within that state, I mean that should definitely help bring out the crowd. We're all for the football or the basketball guys being local and making sure we pay close attention to what they're doing. Don't overlook the baseball team because they are filled with guys as well. And it might not be a lengthy history, but the baseball program has a history of putting guys in the league.
Yeah.
And you never know who's going to be the next Ian Happ or Kevin Euclid or somebody. There's plenty of other examples of guys still playing there. So get out and support local.
Yeah.
This season. I haven't been to a baseball game for a while, but I want to make sure I get there this year just to say that I've been. So with so many local guys, it should make it an easy decision.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, he spoke to that. It's good to, that's what helped a few guys come back. They went out of the transfer portal. It's nice to play their final games here locally at home where their family and friends are close by, even if they didn't go too far away from school. We just gave up a very solid base hit here. Bottom of the ninth right now. This game is underway, 6-6 right now, just so you guys know.
This is the preseason, overview, but we're doing it in season because that's how we got to do it sometimes. So
this is our baseball welcome party, basically.
Yes. It just started, so we're not that late.
Yeah.
So we got plenty of time to learn all these names, stats, and numbers as things are just getting kicked off here. What are we in the
bottom of the ninth?
Bottom of the ninth. So it's getting
2 outs, 1 on. So we're trying to rescue this and get a chance here. Only problem is if we get something, we got to come back out and play some defense, unfortunately. But yeah, you saw me pick out some names. Just going back to the expectations for this year, as of like the press conference Tuesday, that he didn't say he really had like a set 9. Man, that might have been it. Yep, home run. That's it. Game over, folks.
Dang.
Yep. Unfortunately, your Bearcats fall short, 8-6. It looks like against Jacksonville University. More on what I saw, was able to log here. We got 2 more games against them, Saturday and Sunday. But it looks like that is the wraps on that. So no set starting 9. Spoiler alert. He likes some of the offensive productivity we had last year, and some guys he brought in as well in combination. He stated as 13 to 14, or with 12 to 15 guys who like had some great numbers. He's got 13 to 14 guys he's going to mix in regularly for the starting lineup. Tommy O'Connor mentioned, prospect. He was mixing him between him and Josh Cross at first base. I think today Tommy O'Connor got the start at first base. Hit well as he could today so far. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. They were going to go in the middle of the order. Looking at second base, he was going to switch between Loudon Brooks and Luke Seffick. Aside on that, today it looks like Loudon Brooks got the start at second base. Kristen Mitchell, as I mentioned, I think he was already had him pretty much locked in shortstop. He did some pitching, but I think his ability is going to be more better suited there. Obviously, if he came down to it and needed, I'm sure we'd tap him for that. But it looks like his home's more in the field, based on some of the fielding statistics I've seen. A few errors, but he's a younger dude at this point. So, Kieran Cross, third base, got to start today as well. Dalton Pierce, like I said, he hyped him up really well. Center field, he got the start there today. Hunter Jesse was going to get mixed in, and like I said, going to be playing a few places. Cole Harding was going to get mixed in. He wanted Layden Viderek to play left field, I think. I mentioned Alex Jones got the start catcher today. He was still stuck between him and Corey Klingenbeck. Alex got the start. And then Seth Gower starting pitching today. And then Josh Hegman at right field also got the start today.
Darin, I know we're if we go back, let's go back to expectations for a second here. Yeah. I know we were kind of thrown off there with the end of the game that was happening in real time here. But like, because for any fan base, the Bearcats fan base, especially, we want to win, we want to be competitive. In the press conference that you alluded to, Beischel said he didn't come here just to throw the Big 12 logo on his jersey. They're trying to make sure they have what they need to compete. And, saying at the same time, the Big 12 is, it's the SEC and then the Big 12 really in college baseball. And in Beischel's thoughts, the Big 12 has 10 teams that could potentially make the baseball tournament this year. I think there are 4 or 5 that are in the top 25 right now, according to the D1 baseball website, with TCU being number 5 in the country. I think Texas Tech was in there, Texas, K-State maybe. I might be leaving one out, but and then he said with Arizona and Arizona State coming next year, it's only going to get even deeper.
Yeah,
the Bearcats
are schools.
Yeah, the Bearcats in the Big 12 preseason poll, they were tied for 12th at the bottom with BYU, behind Baylor, UCF, and Houston being the teams right above them there. With playing in such a deep conference, Beischel again, he compared it. I love the basketball comparison. He said he was there, this week, and he's like, Wes has those boys playing hard, and he's like, I'm not a basketball guy, but it looks like they're working their butts off and playing well together and everything, and they still come up short. And he said he was kind of bracing for that same sort of thing there year one, as the Bearcats coach and in the Big 12. So, like, what is to you, or to any kind of casual fan or someone looking to pay more attention here? Is a successful year just based off of the growth the players make? Can we expect them to be ahead of schedule a little bit, like the Lady Bearcats under Coach Merriweather. That we think that they're a little bit of ahead of schedule, especially with recruiting and stuff. What's a successful year or a successful season look like for the baseball Bearcats?
You always start with the easiest. I won't say easiest thing because sometimes that's where you begin and end for some coaches, unfortunately. But yeah, growth, like always growth. You growth, and I guess a tie into their buy-in as well. You want players to grow and improve. Look confident, feel confident, play confident, and then also just accept what you're trying to build. If you're losing a locker room, it doesn't, look great. Obviously, we kind of saw that in football where there's some locker room issues that, that kind of set us back our expectations of where we need to, see that program. And so if that growth is happening, if there's buy-in, and if these players are confident in what's going on, then the next thing you want to look for is, how are they winning? How are they losing? Are they losing close games? Are they fighting in every single series? Have they stole some big series from people? Say we go off and, win, take the series 2-1 against TCU or something like that. Not saying it's going to happen, but will there be upset moments like that in this season? That's kind of how I want to build, this. And obviously we lost our first game, but also in that same breath, Jacksonville University is not, a pushover at all. I think they're projected to finish number 1 in the Atlantic Sun. So, you always have to, take that formally, especially, you can't be like, oh, Power 5, Group of 5. That does not apply here and does not apply in college baseball. Especially when you get turnover, and you're also not only are you having turnover, you're having turnover from a program that wasn't as successful to start out, as it stood. And then for him, he said even just start out, because we're just getting started here, but like what success would look, somebody asked him what success would look like coming, out of this series, are those guys committed to playing their style of ball and what they've been trying to, hammer in fall camp? And that ties in perfectly with the commitment and confidence and buy-in. Did they just get outplayed? Were they doing what they were trying to do? He said he's not trying to shy away from any of their game plans. He doesn't want his players to shy away from, what he's trying to play, how he's trying to have them play. So you got to start off slow and just build. Always. Now, if we came in and we're like, all of a sudden we had like a top, 30 recruiting class and, we flipped a few guys and got some, former, got some prospects that transferred in, then you can talk about expectations of winning and things like that. And we got some guys on, I think like 5, at least from, based on D1 baseball's, right up of us. We got 5 guys who look great.
Okay.
But, slow and steady, especially in a new conference on top of that.
Yeah, I think we've learned that through the other sports that we've pay attention to here. Slow and steady might be the recipe for us here. Not quite as easy as it seemed.
Nah, never is. You don't want it to be easy though, of course.
You're right. Yeah, that's why we take the jump up here for sure. So when is I think they're home, the baseball team here, sooner than later, sooner than you would think. Is it NKU or it's a local team? I feel as though I feel like they play a local team here sooner than later at home. Let's see who we got here.
It is Northern Kentucky. You got it right. Yeah. It's NKU. It's looks like it's a special event, 9 innings and winning. That's just at home on a Tuesday. Baseball times are weird. Just letting you guys know.
Yeah.
Already baseball times are weird. They play the game at 2 today for first pitch. So usually your Friday and weekend games are a little bit more manageable for people. So yeah, we do that and then go back out to Ball State. But before we get too deep into the schedule there, let's take a quick look at the Jacksonville game today. At least from what I could, gather before we started.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mentioned Dalton Pearson, Josh Hegman, Layton, Vidarek, Loudon Brooks, Seth Rogue for getting your starting pitching there. Kieran Cross, Tommy O'Connor. A quick note about him. Tommy has a lot of eyes on him. He was probably our best player last year. He's starting to get that buzz in his ear about making it to the show. He's a junior too, and even Coach mentioned the superstition about if you don't have a draft offer by your junior and senior year, things aren't great. You'd lose money, things like that. And so his focus for him this year is to have him not try to do too much. Like, oh, I gotta be the guy. I gotta make this hit. I have to make this play. To the detriment of the team. He wants him to play the best out. Be the best he can be out of 9 guys, and as a part of those 9 guys. Which I agree. I mean, that's the cross sports. Is the idea. And then Alex Jones got the start catcher. Seth, didn't start out too hot today. He was in the first inning at 28 pitches. They usually want them to, have. I mean, your 10's like really good, but 12 to 15 to 16 at that point. It seemed like every batter was getting like 6 or so chances, per batter. He threw a lot of balls to start out. Gave up a triple. Gave up a triple. Three batters brought in from that, and then that was on 2 outs and a batter at 2 strikes at that point as well. So didn't start out great. Eventually, I think he had a mound visit that first inning also too. Actually, you usually don't like to see that. A lot of balls. It looked like he was trying to warm up at that point a little bit. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, that kind of might be expected first game, first start. The warming up aspect probably definitely in play there. And I was going to also I know they just finished their 2:00 game, but it's a doubleheader tonight, right? They have another one at 6:00.
Do they actually have another 6:00?
I'm
it does. Yeah. It looks like a doubleheader, right? Yeah.
So
actually, yeah. I was like, yeah, Friday. Like that was like tomorrow. Like, no, you're right. Yeah.
We got more baseball yet to go here. So, we'll see what it'll be interesting to compare the numbers there from game 1, game 2 tonight.
Yeah, and break on Saturday. Although the way the coach talked about in the presser, he made it seem like who did he say would get the start? I think I lost it here. But he said Nate Taylor would get Saturday, and then Tommy B would get Sunday. Tommy Bobo would get Sunday. So maybe we'll see. I'll kind of check ESPN Plus later, see if that's all. But the way Coach presented it was that it was Saturday and Sunday games, 1, 2, 3. But if it is a doubleheader, hey, kind of like when the game ended, they went straight back into the clubhouse. So It may be. But yeah, didn't start off too hot that first inning. We ended up, and even when it came into the second inning, so they were up 3 at that point. I think they went up 4-0 eventually. In the second inning, they were still getting pretty good contact on his pitches, but all 3 of them were fly balls. They all went to Dalton Pearson at that point, so he got all 3. So that was 3 easy outs at that point. He stayed in the game, but before that, top of the third, our bats really started to warm up. Tommy O'Connor got on base, and then Landon Viderek had a 2-run homer to bring him in. So it we started to warm up. We started to get hot. I think Seth stayed in. I think he pitched. Yeah, so he pitched well. So he pitched into the 5th at that point. We went up 5 in the 4th inning. At that point, they pulled Seth in the 5th at 69 pitches. Griffin Hughes went in, pitched pretty well. We went up 6 at one point, and then it stayed tied at 6 until where we were on the stream here, and they won it 8-6 in the bottom of the 9th. Also of note, Dalton did go out with an injury. They put Hunter Jesse in, and they shifted. He got that 5th run, I want to say, which was nice. But they shifted one, so Hunter stayed out there in the outfield. He shifted to left field, I want to say, and then they moved Josh Hagan to center. So yeah, that sucks to drop your first one like that, but a lot of ball left to play. Team's no slouch. Their pitcher was really good. He didn't get his first mound visit until the 5th inning. So, and like I said, good pitcher. Had to watch out for him. He was no joke. Smoking us. But eventually we started to hits off him and we had to pull him. So that is the tail of the tape for your first game. So if you want to look a little bit into the rest of our schedule now, coming up, let's do that real quick and then get these folks out of here.
Sounds good.
All right. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So yeah, you mentioned we got NKU coming up. One-off game. Then we're going to a small tournament put on by Coastal Carolina. That's invitational with Ball State, Illinois, and then Coastal Carolina, of course. Most of these. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm talking. I'm trying to pull up the schedule here and talking to myself. Keep going. You're good.
Yeah. And most of these games will be called on ESPN. Occasionally, Flow Sports of all places. Not great. We got Xavier, little crosstown action at the end of the month, 28th on a Wednesday, 2 p.m. So students, if you can make it middle of the class, please do. If you've already just got some time off, go ahead check that out. We go on to our another series. And mind you, a lot of times the conference schedules are a little weird. They don't play continuous conference games. You may play some guys early in the season and then not see anybody at all for a bit, or you kind of play them periodically. So start out, we have Northern Illinois with a designated hitter doubleheader. It's going to be in March, beginning March 1st. That's going to be at home. That I guess you could consider that our home series opener. If you can't make it to North Kentucky game, but your first chance is to see them in North Kentucky. That's going to be a 4-game series lasting from March 1st all the way through Sunday. Akron comes to town for 1 game. We are our first Big 12 action with Kansas State, March 8th through the 10th. That's going to be away. Then we got Western Illinois coming for a 2-game series. Well, I don't know if it's really a series with 2 games, but 2-game stint. March 2nd, that's a Tuesday and Wednesday. Then more Big 12 play with Kansas. March 15th through the 17th, that's going to be at home. We have some more rivalry action with Miami. We're going to be in Oxford for that March 20th. Make the trip up if you can. It's going to be Wednesday at 4 p.m. We play the St. Louis Billikens for a series March 22nd through the 24th. That's going to be away. And then we have some more cross Power 5 baseball. We're playing our old rivals in Louisville. They've been pretty consistent on the schedule from what I understand, though. That's March 26th. It's going to be away in Louisville, Tuesday, 5 p.m. Make it if you can. I'm sure the boys would love to see some away support, especially now we're stepping into a conference that loves its baseball.
Yeah.
We're going away. We're going to stay on the road from that's a long road trip. We're from March 20th all the way to the 30th. We're on the road. Starting March 20th, we're going to be at Baylor for a series, and then we come back and play Xavier in Mason.
Yeah, the Joe Nuxall Classic. That's quite. If you look at it there, that Baylor, the first game to Baylor to the last game of the series against TCU, and even Oklahoma State. That's end of March, beginning of April. That is a brutal stretch for anybody.
Baseball schools through and through.
Yep.
Softball more so even for some of these schools. But yeah, honestly, you should check out. There's a good YouTube video that does a lot of facilities, facility tours. A lot of Big 12 schools on that that they've done so far. Some great grounds too. I thought about going out to Stillwater to check out their facilities for that game. Except TCU from April 5th through 7th. The other part of the Joe Nuxall Classic, Wright State, Miami, and then Oklahoma State, April 12th through the 14th. One off against Eastern Kentucky for the office night, and then Xavier comes back home for the other half of the crosstown. So we play them 3 times potentially 4, depending on the results. The Joe Nuxall Classic, and then Houston, solid baseball school from what I understand. Actually, that's a home series. Big 12 play. UCF, we go down to Disneyland for that one. West Virginia, March 3rd through 5th. That's going to be home. Indiana, some more cross Power 5 action. Decent baseball school. We're going to be out in Bloomington for that. It's going to be the Big 10 network. So get your subs ready. Then we go out to Provo for BYU. That's going to be May 9th through the 11th for that series. One off against UConn May 14th on a Tuesday, 11 a.m. School will be out, so,
Yeah, maybe.
Probably be a quiet day. Education day, maybe you should go and show up and show off your teaching and get recognized.
There you go.
Then we finish out the season with Oklahoma. That is going to be May 16th through the 18th. Also a big baseball school. That's going to be at home, though. And then Big 12 tournament play is May 21st through the 25th. As you mentioned, probably second most popular baseball school. I'm looking forward to us absorbing some of that culture.
Sure.
I know a lot of people were talking about, at least in this our tailgate circles, we're talking about see if we can get something going for that, shown out for games. I tried to do some research last year to see what a baseball tailgate does look like for college. ECU of all places was the only school I could find that had some information on it. They love baseball there.
Yeah, I was going to say they're a pretty big baseball school for sure.
but yeah, second to SEC, which loves its softball and baseball. Maybe who knows? Maybe we can get some cowbells at some point and start ringing those and get really annoying. But looking forward to the season.
Yeah, definitely. Admittedly, I am not the biggest Reds fan. Not because I want our players to do well and perform well and win
Yeah.
to spite ownership, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I'm watching games and I'm cheering them on, so just to spite the powers that be that are in charge. So I would love to be able to focus my baseball energy in the spring here on the Bearcats, and we'll definitely try to do that along the way. Like you said, most of the games are on ESPN Plus. You're paying for the subscription to watch football and basketball. Throw it on and just baseball. I feel can be a sport that you watch passively, right? Like you on the radio for the Reds, or you just put on the radio and you're out in the yard doing whatever, and you're catching bits and pieces, and you're cool with that. So not quite the radio aspect for the Bearcats, but certainly ESPN put it on and walk by the TV as you're doing some housework or some projects and catch pieces of the game. And ESPN doesn't know you're not sitting there watching it. So, but we still get the credit, the views for streaming it. So that's definitely what I'll probably do is try to put on the second game of the doubleheader here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good noise while you build a crib.
Exactly.
Congratulations again.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll cover that when we talk basketball again. We wanted to dedicate a full episode here to the baseball preview and everything that's going on. So we do have a lot to talk about in basketball terms, and we might have to make this a twofer this weekend, Darin. Maybe because I know the Bearcats Saturday they play. I think they're at UCF, and we haven't talked basketball for a while. So maybe hop on Sunday or something and
absolutely.
and talk about Houston and Iowa State and then UCF. We're not going to get into it now. We're talking baseball. So hopefully tune in. Hopefully I'll see some of our listeners. I always love when listeners come up to us and talk to us at sporting events. I've had that happen 3 or 4 times now. On Saturday, I had that happen for the basketball game. I forget the guy's name. I don't know if he told me his name. Matter of fact, I did have more than several Cincy Lights though, so don't blame me. I had probably too many, but it was a good time. So let's catch some baseball together, Darin, and drink some Cincy Lights and enjoy America's pastime. That's we're going to make this spreadsheet that we shared for most of the podcast. We're going to make that available somehow. I'm going to maybe this weekend, definitely this weekend. I'm not saying maybe, I'm saying definitely this weekend. I'll put it in a blog post for the website. We probably haven't outside of Sam Antics, who did his college football picks for gambling. We haven't had too many articles put up on the website here recently, so I'll try to put this spreadsheet that you made here into a blog post for the website so people can find it, save it, and reference it throughout the season, because that is
these are
art.
These are for reference. Again, these are 2013 stats. Maybe we can update it too and throw in some high school stats for the newer players as well. But yeah, as it stands, these are the 2013 stats, just so people have a point of reference.
2023.
23, yeah. That's what I say, 33. Or
you said 13.
13. Ooh, wow. Woo, take it back. Still in college at that point.
Maybe even before that. Who knows? Little League.
No, some of these guys weren't even. Yeah, they were crawling around. 2023 statistics, and then well, hopefully we'll see you guys at some games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things are still on sale. Get those.
Yeah.
Cheap seats. We felt like giving the Reds family some money. Give some back to your university here. So.
100%, man. Well, if I don't, I will talk to you sooner than later, I'm sure, because we got more to talk about here. As multiple sports in full swing here, and my time is starting to open up again here with really just one major event standing in its way, and we'll get back here to regular basis talking Bearcats and drinking beers because that's what we do here.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, I'll leave it as this, man. Cheers, go Bearcats.
Cheers, go Bearcats.